So for Unit 25, I think it's actually very simple. So I didn't want to do a split screen with like notes explaining things. I think I'm just gonna go from the textbook. So skipping all this. Repetition and reduplication. So we talked about earlier that there's repetition of nouns like mata mata or toat toat. It makes it every blank. So mata by itself is just like evening. Mata mata means every evening. There's another way to say this that I'm forgetting right now, but this is a very nice and simple way of like repeating of indicating like every like um like thing. I think we could also say like hulu mata and that'd be like all evenings or something. But I think mata mata for saying every evening is how I would do that. Um, yeah, so that's talking about like repetition of certain nouns. Then repetition of pronouns was talked about in a previous unit, 23. Man, man, and min, min. These pronouns are like who and what. When you double them up like this and you repeat them, then it becomes like plural of it, like which people are going to come, what things, like taukalle, like do you know. Then it talks about the first new thing, which is the repetition. Well, I guess this is technically. No, I think it wasn't. Yeah, it was mentioned in 12.4 actually, so it's not even new. Um, Repetition of adjectives is the first new thing. So dena is good. Dena is like the repetition of it, and it means like plurality of the nouns they modify. So this is going to be talking about many good people, like bizu bizu, like many setoch women. Yumet alu, like they will come. A lot of women will come. Metfo is bad. Ersas och, I think is pencils or something. So many bad pencils. Algazam I won't buy. I'm not going to buy a lot of bad pencils. Yeah, I'll just kind of go from there. Partial reduplication. So this is interesting. So for some amotic adjectives that indicate dimension or colors, they have like a partial reduplication, and it makes it plural. So Tillik Ketama is a large city. Tililik Ketama, is large cities, and they kind of mention later on like this doubling of this constant. Personally, I don't really care about it. I can't even tell the difference between like Tililik with one L versus like two L's. But they mention it later. But Tinnish would become Tininish when Baruch, so like small chairs. Sefafi, Beit Och, so wide houses, large houses. Anyway, continuing. So they mentioned there's like a rule for. Oh, actually, let me read this real quick. The reduplicating of single code. Oh, yeah, I think this is kind of what I'm saying. Like, reduplicating the double constant. The word, yeah. Okay, I explained it wrong. I think, yeah, this is the reduplicated constant. Technically, it's in the beginning of the word. These are all like duplicated constants, and it's just one here. But I think there's like exceptions where that can change. Anyway, I don't think it really matters that much. The ch thing. So like if the word is a ch, like nech, depending on the word that comes before it, that'll like determine what the reduplication afterward is. So if there's an like if the c comes after an e, like for like nech here, the reduplication will have a ch a. So like nechach, which is like white, and this is dimet, which is white cats. If there's an I before the CH, it's going to have CI or CHI or CHA. Again, remembering like this capital C means like CH in the textbook's pronunciation of things. Example somewhere. Okay, another example, fine. With an A, CHA, so I think Achud, which is short. So Achachud is short pencils. Okay, or Sasuch. Okay. Wolfram, yeah, the duplicated constant is signal. Yeah, I think because it only has one F normally, it's not duplicated like it is like for basically all these other ones. It's just gonna be single. The last example of a single K followed by U, the reduplication is qua. Interesting. Though I may be said to be due to U. So okay, so if it has a KU and you duplicate it, the duplicated one becomes KOA. Te qua cord. Black mules. Interesting. Yeah, that's an annoying exception and probably somewhat important because Tokord is black and it's like a kind of common word. Anyway, so complete reduplication. So these are partial reduplications. It's like part of the word got reduplicated. If you just say the word twice, and this is kind of used mostly for colors, I believe. Yeah, it becomes like ish. So like Ayake is reddish. Nechanich is whitish. Tikortik. Oh my gosh. Tikoratikor is blackish. My pronunciation probably is just completely off. Um, but yeah, that I guess is how you would make it like. Um, I guess denoting like the color is like somewhat of that thing. And yeah, I guess every reduplication will have an A like in between it. Last thing is min madergiano. So like actually it says it here. So there's noun instruments that were mentioned in 16.6 where you put like an ea on the end of the infinitive form of a word. I think with like a little bit of exceptions and stuff, but I can't remember what they were off the top of my head. And that kind of turns it into like what is sort of used to kind of do the action. So madrig is to do. So when you say like madrigia, you're referring to some sort of object that is used to do things essentially. And when you ask the question min madrigia, no, my pronunciation is probably really really bad, but it kind of asks the question like what is it used for. So like I guess the examples are misaf min madrigia, no. So like what is the book used for? Misaf manbebia, no, it's something you use to read. A book that is used for reading. That's interesting. Yeah, manbeb is to read. Here's the iya, so it's like something you use to read is kind of how I would translate it. Yeah, I guess, yeah. And then, they have the drills here, which I don't really talk about in the videos themselves. I think it's just practice people can do on their own. But yeah.